Hamilton's first test with Ferrari is officially underway as the Brit has taken the F175 out in Fiorano in what is supposed to be followed by a drive of the SF23 as well. Both parties waste no time in the process of integration and getting to know each other with the car as much as they can, but with Leclerc being a serious threat to Hamilton's 8th championship, how will these tests help Lewis in the battle that's awaiting him? And more importantly, can he bounce back from the poor spell he had with Mercedes in the past couple of years? One of the great things that happened in the Formula One world is the arrival of Lewis Hamilton to Ferrari, and now he is officially driving machinery produced by the Maranello team on their private track in Fiorano. This is the day they've been waiting for 1 year, ever since Lewis announced that he will be joining the team before even testing out the car that Mercedes made for the 2024 season. The first laps will be with the F175, and after that it's supposed to be replaced with the 2023 Challenger or the SF23. Hamilton, however, won't be the only one to drive the car, as Leclerc is also scheduled for some runs as well, but they will be with less significance for him as he's driven full seasons with these cars and there is not much he could extract from them that he doesn't already know right now. For Hamilton, however, driving a Ferrari car is the pinnacle of the journey, and even though it's not the SF24 or a prototype of the Project 677, which is still too early to do, it is a great base to begin his integration process. Ever since he arrived in Maranello, it was obvious that Hamilton would be greeted with tons of work, and the one that he might not be the happiest about was the simulator work. However, it's one he needs to do in order to get accommodated to certain things, such as the steering wheel of the car. What Hamilton needs to understand as early as possible is that there are aspects of the car and his performance that he needs to work on, particularly the one-lap performance, where he lacked a lot compared to Russell in the previous couple of years. Therefore, he might be forced into trying to improve this segment of his driving, which is something that we are very happy to hear, as it would definitely bring towards a more exciting season ahead of us. And luckily for Hamilton, this is not the only test that Ferrari has scheduled for him. There is a report that suggests that the Maranello team has rented out the Barcelona circuit over a 3-day period, somewhere around the pre-season testing in Bahrain, which would give Hamilton around 1,000 kilometers of driving under the TPC rules. But the current test in Fiorano is helpful from another perspective as well. He gets to know his race engineer better and used to his voice constantly in his ear. This might be a bit hard for Hamilton, knowing that he had Bono as the angel sitting on his shoulder for a very long period of time, and it's obvious that it will take some time to adjust to these kinds of things. But the positive notes coming from Vettel regarding the services of the Italian engineer are definitely something that Hamilton had in mind before deciding whether or not this aspect should change in Ferrari. It's also interesting to note that before the first test, or before Hamilton even officially became a Ferrari F1 driver, he made certain requests after discreet visits to the Maranello factory, and one of those requests was to pull back the seating a little bit. This would benefit him a lot because with Mercedes he always felt like he was sitting on the front tyres, but nevertheless it's a bit far-fetched to believe that this single change is going to bring tons of performance to Hamilton's car. It's just fine-tuning to perfection, as he can't leave anything to chance. And the greatest part of this is the fact that Hamilton will have tons of challenges that he will tackle down, and he won't have any room for mistakes. Hamilton being Hamilton, you would assume the expectations are very high, and with that you would also assume that any mistake or any dropout of Q1 or Q2 while Leclerc might be fighting for a front row is going to be scrutinised a lot. On top of that, the 7-time world champion would have to prove to the entire world, Ralf Schumacher especially, that he knows what it takes in order to build a championship winning car, something that the brother of the other 7-time world champion highly doubts. Nevertheless, the journey has just begun and we are here to see all of it, starting from the first test in Fiorano and ending all the way with the pre-season test in Bahrain, before Hamilton will have the first challenge on his hands on 16th of March in in Australia. Key areas that Lewis will likely work on are going to be the feedback provided to his race engineer about the behaviour of the car, the feedback provided to the engineers who are working behind closed doors in Maranello, as well as the communication with Adami. Part of the visits in Maranello that I keep mentioning throughout the video involved a meet and greet with his new race engineer, which should help him a lot if he wants to tackle down Leclerc as early as possible. Whether we like it or not, Hamilton is entering Ferrari as the underdog because of Leclerc's experience with the team, but with the 2025 car being a 99% new project, it'll be interesting to see how these drivers will adapt to the car. Obviously, there is something that needs to change for Ferrari to dethrone McLaren from the top of the table, and adding Hamilton to that equation is by far the most important thing that they could have done regarding the on-track decisions. A massive support for Hamilton will definitely be Loic Serra, who is serving the role of chassis technical director in Ferrari, because he was the first departure from Mercedes' high-profile members when the team decided to stick with the zero-pod design. This hints that he and Hamilton might know something that we don't, and either way, we are down to see how this duo will pan out on the map, considering that Hamilton's feedback in Mercedes in the past couple of years wasn't listened to all that much, hence the poor results. But now it all looks very different, and that can be spotted by Hamilton's posts on Instagram, which were bilingual in Italian and English, and that shows some very good determination that he's ready to be accepted as part of Ferrari's family and that he's coming here as an ally, not as an enemy. To top that off, Hamilton tried off his Italian in front of Vigna and the Italian media, and it's safe to say that he will follow the footsteps of Leclerc and Sainz when it comes to addressing the Ferrari-related outlets in their native language. The Tifosi might have a bittersweet feeling if he is the next champion for Ferrari and not Leclerc, and if he takes down Michael Schumacher's record driving the car of the team that the German once used to drive. But of course it is a circle of life, and as Hamilton said, I always dreamed of driving in red. When addressing the first day in Maranello, the Brit wrote, "Day one, I'm grateful to John Elkann, Vigna and Vasseur for their trust in me and making me part of this family. I am so excited to start this new era and to meet and work with a hugely talented and inspiring group of people who have been so welcoming. I am dedicated to bringing everything I have to deliver for the team, the wider organisation and the fans." Of course, we must not forget the fact that Hamilton brought one of his closest allies in Mercedes, Angela Cullen, with whom he worked from 2016 all the way through until 2023, when Angela decided to take another path in her career. Nevertheless, now that both are out of Mercedes, they have decided to join forces again here in Ferrari, as Angela is now part of the Project 44, with Hamilton having nothing but great words for the New Zealander. Explaining her impact on his professional life, the 7-time world champion stated, "People for sure won't understand it, naturally, because they see it from a distance, but she has been one of the greatest things that has happened to me in my life. I've been fortunate to work with a lot of people, and she is the single hardest working woman that I get to be around. She is focused and selfless, and she makes my weekends peaceful. Every day I wake up, whatever time it is, she is just positive. Never a single day has she been negative, so that is very, very important." With all this in mind, do you think that Hamilton's tenure with Ferrari will run very smoothly? And more importantly, do you think that there is a situation in which he's going to prove to the rest of the world that he didn't win 7 championships by luck? Let us know in the comments below, and once you've done that, have a look at the video that's appearing on your screen right now.